That boy, I don't want to be goofy.
What up? It's your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios.
Man, and it's your boy Black Terry, man, from Hoodpolitics Media.
You gotta get a little bit closer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yep. So we decided, me and Terrence here, we've been trying to collaborate for a long minute here. He got into his podcast, Hoodpolitics. Plug your shit real quick.
Man, Hoodpolitics Media, man. We talk about important issues. I've been a big fan of. I'm a hip hop baby. I'm a hip hop historian. I'm a hip hop creator, and so I've always just over exhumed all hip hop, all issues, and then I love politics. So hood politics and the issues of where I come from, I try to make sense of it all on my platform. Talk about a lot of different issues.
That's what's up, and that's all. I met you down here at one of the comedy shows, and I started checking out some shows and stuff. And we don't always see eye to eye on the same things, but you make sense, and you come at it from a grown man point of view. You ain't got your butt ain't hurt throwing feelings in it and shit like that. Where I see a lot of people out here,
you gotta take emotion out of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people tell you, you gotta leave your emotion. No, because when you start getting emotion, it's okay to have empathy.
Well, here's the thing.
It's okay to care about people.
Yeah.
But to let that start controlling your whole everything.
Right. It's problematic. That's problematic. There we go. Now we can meet.
Yeah.
Here's when I say take emotion out, here's what I mean. Your emotions govern your decision making. And a lot of times it's proven fact that the angrier you get, the lower your IQ goes. So one of the things I learned to do as a mature man is not make decisions when I'm angry. Because develop opinions when I'm angry, because it's so that's what I see a lot of very intelligent people who develop some opinions about all this stuff when they from a hurt place.
Right.
So once I understood my hurt and what I had to, and I sorted all that out, I began to look at things differently. And that's the only difference between me and the people that you debate with most of the time.
Well, a lot of people, I try to stick to people who actually have an intellectual side.
Right.
I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Because everything that I've ever been right about has been bad shit. Nobody wanted that shit to happen. Nobody wanted me to be right about the shit. But it was there. I called it. I seen it. You might not have liked the way I presented it to you, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, one of the most vilified guys in society since back in the day was Alex Jones, and people still,
Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, Rush. Shit.
I used to listen to Rush, bro. Listen, I used to listen to Rush. Listen, really. I was raised totally, opposite of his perspective. And in prison, I was used to be in the shoe a lot. All you had was your radio, and you find little AM shows to watch, to listen to get through the day. Because you in there 24, 23 and 1. I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh every day at 5 p.m. I'm talking about for probably about 3 years straight.
With the golden EIB microphone.
Man, listen, man, Rush was out of control. But I began to understand how this space works with politics and media, and how media is very powerful, and you have to be careful about not whether you like the information, or is it real, or is it valid, or is it accurate.
That's why I stopped. Honestly, that's why I stopped watching a lot of American news.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of CNN, but I always listened. I always watched them.
Like, for example,
they gave me an opposite of what I was thinking, and then I watched Fox, and I'm like, Look, I just watched this whole Senate here. I watched everything that went down. CNN talk about this happened and it was so bad, and y'all talking about it didn't happen at all. I watched what happened. It did, but it wasn't that bad. So why y'all acting a fool?
Well,
you want to see some real news? Some real news, because they don't give a fuck about America. Australian Sky News.
Well,
they give the straight up. They will tell. They just drop the beans.
What is the straight up? Because here's the thing. This is why I really wanted to come on your platform today. Because of the story we just initially discussed, we're going to talk about that. You got to be careful how they frame these stories.
Right.
It's not necessarily dealing in facts. One thing about this media and journalism and words, they're very good with framing. What happens is you got to understand who the person who put this stuff out there, what's their agenda. And Australia has an agenda of undermining United States political assets. So, hold on, let me finish. Let me make a point. I want to make a point. And so, I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and you probably could relate to this. I remember during the floods, the real bad floods in Puerto Rico, and I remember some of my, the news coverage on the floods in Puerto Rico. And some of my Puerto Rican friends communicate saying they're talking to their people in Puerto Rico and saying that this ain't true or that ain't true. But the news, whether it was CNN or Fox News, they all have their own agenda.
Right.
So they frame stories based on their audience, not on facts. All
right. And I remember them days because I started reporting.
And my friends, Puerto Rican friends, right? I'm sure you was talking to people that you saying, "Hey," and they're like, "What? We just at the mall?" Like it was nothing because they sell disaster. They wanted a reaction. They wanted the people on the mainland to react in a certain way.
Right.
So they frame it. They know, and it's so diabolical. They even know how to target those communities with this. So this is a powerful tool that we all need to learn and understand, or we're going to get lost.
Yeah,
you can't trust what you always see and hear with these stories. Case in point, the story you brought me on the platform to talk about.
And that's exactly what that was a great segue. The framework and the framing of this story. When I woke up this morning, now from this morning to now, it's become super viral. But there was a picture that a Reuters journalist took on a subway to DC, and it was of a young black woman sitting on a subway bus or a subway car, and it was a bunch of this group. What was the name of the group? You remember the name of it?
They said it was a neo-Nazi group.
No, it wasn't a neo-Nazi group because I checked to see if
it was
a white supremacy group.
Right.
Though.
It's many factions.
Yeah, it was a bunch of idiots, I'll tell you that. But regardless of the doubt, the pictures that it was captioned was, "This is the picture of a true picture of America. This picture should have a Pulitzer Prize and all this and that." And now the first thing I thought, as soon as I saw that picture, the first thing that came to my mind was, there's this subway car full of these idiots, right? And not one of them, even though they are supposedly conditioned to hate, this particular color of person, they're supposed to hate this person's whole everything. Not one of them bothered that young lady. Not one of them spit any. Well, and now I'm gonna give you a little backup to this too. But as of right now, not one of them bothered that lady. Not one of them said nothing, caused that lady any harm. That girl got off that subway car and went about her day without any problem. Now, do I agree with them idiots ideologies? No, they're a bunch of fucking assholes, But we'll get on to the other points afterwards. Now, the reason why I said we go back to what is said now is because there's no reports whatsoever of speaking to this lady, what the lady's name is, asking what the lady was thinking at the time. Hell, she could have been annoyed that she had a camera in her face. Them people could have been the nicest people in the world. We don't know. Again, fuck them people. I don't believe in their creed. I looked up what they was about. Fuck them. But you know, as far as them being a group of protesters who are being non-disrespectful, non-violent or whatever,
so
they got the right to be there. You know, just like I don't believe in, what is that, the NFAC or whatever, the not fuck around crew or whatever, that whole, you know, they had a whole turnout too on the 4th of July. You know, and it was out in masks. They called all these people in masks cowards because they wore masks. All these other people were in masks, and they were armed. But do I believe in what they believe in? No. But do they have the right to be there? Yes, they do.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If I told you that entire story was misleading and really not true, would it change your opinion?
Yes. Well, would it change my opinion?
The entire story is false, yeah.
If the situation is false, then fuck whoever put that out there to divide people. But if that situation did occur,
I did some research.
Well, there is talk about it being an AI picture.
No. This is what it is. It's a real picture.
Well, it's actually a real picture. It's a real picture.
It's a real picture. But let me explain what it is.
Yeah, I'm curious. So you gonna go.
All right. It was whatever's messy journalist posted this.
Her name was out there.
They posted it they took a misleading story. They took two separate. It says here the viral photograph was supposed to have been like a racial symbolism. They were trying to make a point about drawing the conclusion between that situation and the outrage about the young lady who was attacked and killed on the train a couple months ago. The Ukrainian young lady. Hold on. Her name is
Irina Zaruska.
Right. So they were trying to say, if black people got mad just about the presence of white supremacists on a train, where was this outrage when a white woman, Ukrainian woman, was killed by a black man on the train? We heard nothing from the Democrats. They take these social issues and they turn them into political arguments.
Right.
You're absolutely right. It's messy and it's targeted because guess what? Unfortunately, real journalism and facts don't matter no more.
So where did you get that?
That's what you do is I took the story and I ran it through an AI fact check. And what you do is when you do it, you get different links. Like even when you do it, you see that link? It takes you to different links. It says rating. The story is misleading. What they did was they took, and this is what it says they did, whoever the journalist was. The post combines two separate events and implies a level of hypocrisy that is not supported by the available evidence. So it was just a messy way to try to say, hey, black people, you're mad just about black, some white supremacists being present. Why didn't you get this mad about?
And that is a big argument that I see. I see a lot of that argument.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that one. When we start kind of marginalizing these issues, these are social issues. These aren't political issues. These are things that we really do. If the government can't legislate, the government can't legislate me liking you or not liking you or respecting you. You can't. There's no legislation, and this is the problem. Well, they try to, the Democrats and Republicans try to take these issues to influence our opinion when it comes to elections.
Right.
So we got to be careful. They pay people to put misleading stories out like this now.
And
they pay people to hide behind the phone because guess what? You can frame anything with one of these I can make people believe that you're anything if I got enough information and I'm a good enough editor.
At this point, a fucking 10-year-old.
My research said the story was really kind of like somebody being misleading and using two different situations. They wanted to use the Zaruska situation and that train situation as a comparison. And now the argument is, are they even the same? One was a crime and one wasn't.
Yeah, one was.
So you can't, theater. So you can't compare. That's not even apples and oranges. One was a crime. This man killed the woman just randomly. He had a mental health issue. But if he was white, it's the same crime.
Right.
We got to stop racializing crimes and really understand it's not even really a crime issue. It's a mental health issue. We got a lot of sick people running around. They Puerto Rican, they black, they white, and that's what that was. That was a mental health issue that turned into a crime. Well, this issue over here, this young lady on the train, it really happened. White supremacists really came on the train, but they took that story and tried to use it to frame an argument. And that was the messy part, and that was the unfortunate part. You got you and people arguing about a story that really wasn't true. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I said, you know what? Let me talk with Marco today, because you got a growing platform. People listen to you. You want to be accurate.
Right.
You want to be. But so one thing I do, and I love what you said today. You said, man, we got to talk about this because Wednesday is too late. Because by that time the story's stale. We want to talk about it when we need to as men.
Right. And
we gotta agree.
The fact that that's a whole. That's kind of blowing my whole mind right now.
Right.
You know, because I believe that, I believe it happened, and I believe that if that girl felt some type of way,
but there's no evidence that she ever said it or not. That was just somebody being messy and using the power of social media and media to influence. And this is something rage. It's what's called rage bait, and we got to be careful because let me tell you something. I can look in your feed, and in 2 minutes can tell like what you watch and what you entertain, because once the algorithm figures out that you were conservative, it's going to start sending you conservative talking points. Once the algorithm figure out you're anti-abortion, it'll start sending you anti-abortion content. You as an adult and as an intelligent man got to know and do your homework and sort all that stuff out. We got a lot of issues right now. And I don't get into the black and brown thing.
I get a lot of sex toy content.
Yeah, but I guess you get
that's what I get, because my algorithm is so fucked. Because I don't. That's one thing people. And if you look at my page or whatever, you see it's a mix up. Yeah. Both sides hate me. Both sides hate me.
Well, I tell people, man, if everybody agree with you, probably not, you're not.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, you're part of the problem. That's one thing. The men who's going to change the world are men willing to be judged. They're willing to speak truth to power.
Facts.
That's who's going to change the world. If you're not willing to go against what is the conventional wisdom, we got a lot of conversations going on in our community right now that we're starting to look at how we were raised and brought up, and we got to understand that there was a lot of dysfunction in that. And I say, as black people, we need a new mindset. We got to change direction. We can't continue. It's obvious what we've been doing hasn't worked. And I understand grandma, papa, and them, and all them. This is how we got some very problematic cultural things. Black community, and I can only speak to the black community. I wasn't raised in it. I have siblings and close friends in the Latino community, and I understand it, but the only thing I can speak to is black issues.
Well, see, honestly, the way I feel and the way I raised and where I was raised, I feel I can't speak too much on the Hispanic community.
Right.
Because I was brought up in the black community.
That's right.
The only people that I looked up to as fathers, Mr. Brown and Mr. Larry.
That's right.
They was my father figures.
Yeah.
My brothers was Tawan and Footer and Jesse and them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's it.
So I come from that. Actually, and honestly, the most racism I've ever seen in my life up until now is from black folks, from Puerto Rican folks. From my own community. And it's just like, I know people who I would never think a certain way, to their best friend, their white friend's face, they would do anything in the world from behind closed doors, start running their mouth.
But see, that's something else. That's not racism, that's a character flaw. That's inherent character flaw. That ain't they'll hide behind race or use that as an excuse to be
when it happens, the more than one person.
That's a pattern.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's a pattern.
I'm not just speaking about one person. I'm just speaking about, I've seen it more in anything. I've seen.
You know what, man? And one thing we got to do is be careful about, even sometimes from our own experiences. It's like we come up in a very tough community, man. Youngstown, we breed tough people, man.
Oh, for real. Oh, for real.
You had
some of the
toughest
in the world. We was murder capital of the world back in the day.
But I mean, just, because you don't see, you don't see much success around. You're starting to see more. You got to understand, like, that mentality you're talking about is what it breeds. The hate. Because it really don't matter what color.
Right.
If a lot of times, what people are projecting is their own shit.
Right.
They'll hide behind, if your race or your political views. You get people, like I told you, you can't even say, if you say Republican, conservative, their first thing is racist. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm definitely a conservative.
I'm a truther.
Because I believe in tradition. If you understand what conservative means, it means that you carry and have traditional values. Right. I believe in the institution of family. Mother, father, children. I mean, I believe in the institution. I believe in all that part of it. The emotional part and the other stuff, that I don't have to accept that. As an adult, I can separate my feelings about Donald Trump versus my political views about Donald Trump. For example, I'm sitting here right now. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, I would still be in prison right now. Right now. In 2022, he passed when he came back before he left office, he passed an amendment that gave me an opportunity to get relief off my sentence. Because under Obama, when Obama left the first time, he left a lot of stuff undone. So when Trump came in, he made a law retroactive where I could benefit from a law that was enacted that I didn't have access to before. He changed that. Now, do I like Donald Trump, what he says? That man is horrible. I understand who he is. I don't even think he's human. But I don't care about that. I don't need to like. I don't care about that. His policies, do they serve me and my family? I don't care about him. I love Obama. I cried when Obama was elected. I hated his policies, though. I hated some of his policies. Some of his policies is put us, but I love him. I cried. I was in prison. I cried when I watched when John McCain conceded and Obama came out striking. Oh man, woo! And loved him that he didn't embarrass us. He went in. He was an honorable man. He did the right thing. But his policies, gutted us. And so it's like politics and my personal views and stuff are very separate, to be honest with you. Because I'm clear as a 53-year-old father and grandfather of what my family needs. What my family needs to move, progress my family, not what makes me feel good emotionally. Yeah.
And when I've said pretty much the same thing for the longest time. People think, oh, you don't like Obama because he's black. No, I don't like Obama because he's half white. That's why I don't like him. What the fuck is wrong with you? You ain't seen what the fuck he did. You just looking at the color
when
of
his skin. When he pivoted on that issue, the LBG, it was disturbing. Now I'm a big believer in changing your mind when you have new information.
Yep.
That's one thing. I'm not one of those black. That's another thing. A lot of us we have this fixed mindset. We're so proud and you could show a person new information and they still keep believing with it just because that's what I've been believing and I'm not changing that. And that's problematic. So I'm a big believer in when you got new information, new intel, you should be able to make the adjustment. Change your mind.
Yeah.
Hey, I looked at it this way for a while, but now that I look at it differently and I got new information, you know what? Maybe I look at it differently.
Yeah, there's been plenty.
I believe in that wholeheartedly.
There's been plenty of times.
That's called, that's what intelligence is. It's being able to change your mind when you got new information. That's it. He said he changed his mind on a very, very, very core principle that set us back. And what he did was not set us back because he gave LGBTQ people rights. It set us back because he gave them, now we got another group that we were competing against as a black community, which should have came first. He put us in and now he fragmented us. And it just became it became a joke. Because anybody now taking advantage of, whether you were Jewish, whether you were LGBTQ, black, whatever, woman, Everybody's taking advantage of the minority title. And he disappointed me with that part. But him as the man, I love him. He honored us. He very, spoke well.
I will give him. He was a very eloquent speaker. He was very,
but I understand
to the community. But just like y'all was now that particular policy, I still gotta, that's your view on that. My particular policy that I didn't like about it was, he promised to do good for the black and brown people.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he never. And see, and that's you know what?
He went to the black community.
We're gonna research that.
He went to the black community.
He never said.
And he told them he was gonna do particular things. Now he might not have gave a speech and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this for the brown people. I'm gonna do this for." No,
that's all you could go on
to the community.
He was too crafty of a politician to ever say something like that. He wouldn't say, but what he said was, "Now, hold on. I didn't say." Did he ever imply that, or did he lead the community to believe that maybe he was going to do more? Of course he did, but he never said, "Oh, I'm going to," because he knew that would have been political suicide. They wouldn't even let him get elected.
Well, that wasn't even the point. He couldn't. When he did get elected, he extended that 3 strikes rule. And he
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. I got convicted of 3 strikes. No, he didn't. He had nothing to do with that. And that was the problem. He tried to fix it, but he didn't make it retroactive. I was convicted of 3 strikes. I got 30 years.
Research that we did on the whole situation. It was that he pretty much laughed in the face of the black and brown folks while he was smoking weed.
No, what he did. This is what he did.
And Kamala Harris did the same thing.
I don't even talk about her. Listen, here's what he did. He leveraged any political cachet or capital or power he had. He leveraged it all on that Obamacare, and it didn't work. He leveraged, instead of him focusing broadly on a lot. He said Obamacare is going to be that's going to, every president wants, you understand the type of what motivates him kind of thing.
That was.
And he did the Obamacare, it's like, okay, I didn't fix the criminal justice system or even try to. He implemented some things. I did actually benefit from an Obama bill. He did a drugs -2. I got out. Actually, I take that back. I stand corrected. I got paperwork. I got a drugs. He implemented when he couldn't get anything significant passed. He implemented something called drugs -2, which he didn't need Congress to do it because at that time he couldn't get nothing through Congress. They say, "No, buddy, we gave you Obamacare. You're done." So when he got elected the second time, he had lamed up. It wasn't nothing. Then they created a war. That's when you create a war. Now I need a war. You see what I'm saying? It was all just part of the script of being the president when you were in trouble. And he was in trouble. He shot his political capital on Obamacare. They figured out how to undermine it because he made, tax penalties and stuff. And that's where he lost it.
See, my whole feeling on Obamacare is, that shit was nothing but a paid for welfare. And it was Nixon care. It was started from Nixon. All it was, look, my dudes was on it. They got the same welfare card that my kids got.
No, what I mean was, right.
They just paid for a premium.
What it was.
And if they could have did Obamacare, then they could have did health care for everybody.
No, here's what it is. I'll tell you.
I
remember. Check this out.
And you know what? I did mix up Kamala Harris and Obama with the whole smoke of weed with the putting people in jail for it.
No, Kamala Harris, she did put somebody in prison also weed, but that was another. I don't like talking.
Yeah, that's why I thought about 2 different situations.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, right? What he did was made it law that all children are covered. I remember this because I had a newborn, and I never was on at that time. Never on child support or nothing. So when I went to, when the child is born, you go to the family, hey, this child needs insurance. And I said, I put my daughter on my insurance, my personal. And he said, because by law, if you get this under President Obama, because they were all mad. President Obama said they were all mad. And you got to have this insurance. You either take our insurance or you got to have your own insurance. I had my own insurance. And that's when I learned it. He just made it really mandatory that all children are covered. Adults, it was a penalty. If you didn't sign up for it or had nothing, it was some kind of penalty on your taxes. And the penalty is what he messed up when he made it a penalty. It was like it's penalizing. Like, you know, everybody be looking to get their taxes back.
My whole point of it was, though, the actual Obamacare.
It was just the same thing. It wasn't that different.
They were just
he just opened the doors of who was entitled to.
Yeah, so I mean, if you could have did that, fuck getting your fucking $20, $30 a person. Just give the people healthcare.
But that's what happened is he shot his political capital on that and never got nothing else done. But he didn't embarrass us. He didn't do no nigga shit in the fucking office. He honored us. Michelle were pillars. I don't like the criticism. You know, some of the attacks, you know, we like you mentioned, you know, hey, you felt she looked like a man. You know, me and a young lady had a conversation the other day about beauty, the idea of what beauty looks like. And I'm certain what your idea of beauty is pretty much different.
Well, I got the same shit. Like,
I think Michelle Obama was a very beautiful woman. I think she's a very poised woman. Do I think she was the standard of what people consider beauty? No, because that's programming. That's programming. I'm not programmed, so I looked at that woman and seen her beauty.
Oh, I never said she was beautiful,
but I mean,
she looked like a dude. But she looked like, to me,
where do you get that from?
To me, she looked like Patrick Ewing.
That is because she's tall.
It's because she's tall, she's big. She looked like shit fucked me up. Right now, if I said that to her face, she would fuck me up.
But you know what?
You know, that big old dude would beat my ass.
That's the defense.
But that's my only, you know, that's my opinion. That is my opinion, because I know if for, you know, biologically and period, you know, that may be funny and that may be the rumor, but until somebody actually proved that shit, Michelle Obama is a woman. And the fact that some people say it's a racial thing with me because, black women are considered fucking manly or what. No, I'm gonna stop that shit right there.
I got my opinion about Puerto Rican women.
Angela Bassett from What's Love Got to Do With It all the way to Wakanda. I would fuck her for pick a year. Wait to exhale. You gonna tell me? Oh, what about the twins?
Man, ain't nothing like a black woman, man.
The tennis twins. So I don't want to hear shit about her looking manly. I mean, you know, that's called. That's sexy.
Well, not manly. She's a very feminine woman. She just was a tall woman. I said she was tall.
Oh, there's a lot.
You don't see a lot of tall Puerto Rican women.
So that's tell me, Serena, whatever the hell their names was, them tall tennis chicks ain't fine. Them big chocolate girls is. What you talking about?
Like that chocolate
shit. Look, I don't discriminate, but best believe I definitely love me some chocolate.
They were attacked for their looks and not considered beautiful. I know the
shit.
They were attacked for about involved men
and at the same time,
it's a genetic jealousy.
Well,
it's a genetic jealousy.
At the same time, I told you that. Didn't I tell you Melania Trump looked like that dude from the Airwolf? I forget his name.
Tom Selleck?
No, Tom. No, not Tom Barry.
Dude, the black hair.
Yeah, he kind of had that swoop hair, but the face was the same. The face, and then the bad thing is if you start going down the rabbit hole, that dude disappeared when Melania popped up. So, and then you want to put that with the so-called Epstein file that said Trump was sucking dick.
You can't you gotta stay out of the rabbit holes. I think you can do more. Yeah, the dildos, rabbit holes. You gotta stay out of the rabbit holes. You gotta stay out of the rabbit holes.
You see how quick shit starts.
You can't go in the rabbit holes, Marco. It gets dark. It's dark in here, man, bro. You gotta stay out of the rabbit holes.
You gotta get there.
Listen, I see when the algorithm starts trying to take me down. I'm just like, nope. Listen, I already know. Yep.
Dude, I fall asleep. I wake up to some weird. One morning, I woke up to the sand people doing circles around that big block in the middle of the mosque over in the litter box. It was just like, I don't know. What the fuck is going on?
Well, you know what? Case in point, I want to bring something up, man. Listen, check me out on my platform, Hoodpolitics. I want to mention that before we go. Yes. I've been a fan.
And your clothing line.
Everybody know me. I'm the habitual hustler, Black Cherry. My clothing line. I got a fall drop, and I got a book on Amazon. Get my book right now. It's called Showtime: How to Promote Win. That's my book. It's on Amazon, and the digital release August 1st. So make sure you go and check out Showtime: How to Promote Win. King Taro on Amazon. I'll shoot Marco the link, man. If y'all get it, check me out. tells you a lot about how I got to where I'm at, what's going on, and giving a lot of jewels, man, about developing your personal brand, man, how to market, how to promote yourself, not just events. And I give you some real nuggets, some anecdotal stuff, man. 25 years, man. I work with the biggest names in hip hop. I'm very blessed. My resume crazy, so I ain't like some people like who this dude. But check my book out, man. Showtime, How to Promote Win. If you got like a little brother in prison or a nephew or a son, this would be a good book for them because I talk about how hip hop and finding a place in hip hop saved my life, saved me, gave me a direction. The reason I'm 53 years old and I'm still doing it because I've developed the skill set, man, through my trials, going through prison, getting locked up, getting tired of going through that. So if you got somebody you love in prison or something, or your loved one that's on his way to prison, get this book for them. It's called Showtime, How to Promote Win. But definitely, man, your platform is important. You have adult conversations and you can laugh, man. I'll tell you, hilarious. What's going on with the comedy, man? You still what's going on with you, man? That's
the last show we did was down at the Calvin Center. We did a benefit for the Rainbow people. Believe it or not, I am an ally. I'm like an ally, like a comedian said once upon a time that the ally, like if Godzilla was your ally. I'm helping you out, but shouldn't get fucked up along the way. Don't be mad. I'm still good. I'm with you. I'm with you or whatever.
I want to continue to collaborate.
Yeah,
man. Because I think you're important. And like I said, we don't always agree or all on the same page, but you're important. Your view, because as men, we gotta get some common understanding. We need a new set of thinking. Because right now we're not on a good trajectory. We're worried about the wrong shit, man. We gotta look at what's really going on. We gotta know, we gotta unplug, gotta know when you're being programmed. Just like what started our conversation this morning, you said, bro, we gotta talk about this. And so when I started down the rabbit hole and I seen the inconsistencies, I said, oh, this was a spin. Because like I said, this right here, man, is very powerful, very powerful. And I can make anybody believe anything within this little section. I can make anybody believe anything. Because all the rest of this don't matter.
Yeah.
So be careful. Because if my motives aren't pure, then my intentions aren't pure in what I'm putting out.
We're gonna stay on it and make sure that because again, everything stays fluid.
I fact check everything before I post it to my platform.
Yeah. So we try to do it, and if we're wrong, we're wrong. We both said we had to backtrack on some stuff. I mean, it ain't hard to say you're wrong.
That's right.
It ain't hard. Actually, you feel better. I'm wrong. I learned something. Okay.
Right.
Because I thought, to me, I felt some type of way. I felt like
you was triggered.
A little bit. Yeah. Because I felt like that girl made it home safe. I felt like why? I don't agree with these people. These people are assholes. But they got the right to be there. So why we mad at
somebody with nefarious motives?
Now, if one of them would have even threw an elbow or even would have said something derogatory to that, then fuck them. I'm with you. But that didn't happen. There's no evidence of that happening. This girl might have. I feel like she could have been more annoyed at the camera being in her face than anything else.
There's no proof that she even had a problem with that. That projection, that was just something. It looked the optics. Optics are powerful. Optics are powerful. And with AI, I could make you after this interview a video of you getting up, running and jumping over.
Oh yeah, and it's getting easier and easier.
Well, it's better and better.
Yeah,
where you can't tell the difference. I had an aunt. This was about 6 months ago. She called me in a panic. What's going on, auntie? You see this? She sending me the link. It was like China about to bomb United States. Something like, and it looked real. Like, I said, auntie, say yeah, baby. No, it ain't. I said, you say yeah. No, look, this. I said, sweetie, that's AI. Be careful, auntie, that you entertaining, because this algorithm understands you better than you understand you. It's going to feed your fears.
It's going to get stronger.
It's going to feed your fears.
Stronger.
I consume a lot of media. Like I talked to my partner earlier about how much media, and so I got to be careful because it can, this shit is very powerful.
Oh yeah.
So anything I see before I post it or even entertain it, I'll research and make sure the facts, because you're gonna see a lot of people who jumping out there with stuff and it's gonna trigger something that ain't even true. And it's gonna trigger something that's not even true.
And to go on that, make sure you gotta realize when you're using AI, you got to ask it the right question.
It's a tool.
I use it. I say, you know, I asked if that picture was AI because to me it didn't look like AI, but I see
that's a real picture.
Conspiracy theory.
It says it was a real picture.
It was a, fake, but it said it was a real picture, and I left it at that.
Used it accurately.
I didn't go deeper into it where it said it was used inaccurately.
It says the image itself is real. The photo originated from Washington, D.C., where a group identified by journalists and observer as white nationalist demonstrators traveled through the city before the march. The image of the Black woman sitting calmly among them quickly went viral because of the symbolism and visual contrast. Numerous media outlets and social media accounts shared it. However, the post presents the photo as if it were a violent incident or direct threat. There is no evidence that the woman was attacked. Anyone on the train assaulted her. The photo depicts a crime occurring. The image becomes news because of what it represented visually, not because anyone was physically harmed.
Well, that goes back to what I said originally. You know, that's stating everything I said. That girl made it home okay. That girl, there was nothing wrong with that. They took that picture. That pictures were getting taken out of context. You know, I didn't feel like, you know, it was wrong the way people felt about it.
That's the power of media and understand. So now, me amigo. Oh, that's the power of media, man. And I want you to understand the power you got now. So make sure what you projecting and you putting out there is accurate, so you don't make that same mistake or be a part of that, because that whole thing could have ignited something.
Well, God forbid. I see the way it was. It's already started to ignite something. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was my whole thing about it. Misleading story. You know, people are saying that they were there trying to intimidate that girl and all that other stuff. And no,
they were traveling on the train like everybody else.
That's it. At the end of the day,
but a reckless person, a reckless so-called journalist, a reckless so-called journalist put it out there and present it. Because see, you could caption something. I can make a picture of me and you sitting right here right now. They take the picture, and then then I caption it in a way that presents totally opposite of what was the purpose of us sitting here.
And you have people believing that shit.
So that's what you got, but that's why it's our responsibility to be accurate and to debunk it and don't feed it. So like this morning, before you got in the back and forth, I would have researched it. So when I came to that person, I said, hey, listen, the story's not real. On Hoodpolitics lately, I've been fact checking a lot of stories because I really am offended by some of the misinformation that's being put out there to people, man. And so I think,
if you try to bring that to the attention of some people, they get even more enraged about it. Like, look.
Yeah, leave me to I wanted to believe this. Don't you take this from me. Take it from me. I want to believe this. I want to believe
exactly.
It. And that's what you got. But you got to just sort those people out. Those people are going to, like you said, they're going to believe. They're committed. They're committed to whatever they want to believe, and no proof, facts, or evidence going to change that. Those people, you can't worry about it. The people, you got a responsibility to bring facts for the people who can separate and take the emotion out of it and say, oh, okay, let's see what Mark will say. And then Mark say it ain't real. Okay. And then, then it doesn't turn into this big argument about a story that's not even real. It was a story, two stories that were contrast and made an argument out of it. And guess what? That person generated a lot of engagement.
Now, does it say that what was the other story? What were the two stories?
It was the Ukrainian woman story.
Right. Well, they're what you're
saying. And it was the story with the woman on the train.
Right. You're saying are you saying that they're trying to mix the story, or they're trying to equate the story to each other?
Equate. Okay. No, listen. Causation or correlation. They were trying to create correlation. They didn't say cause. It's a correlation between the two.
Right. So I was right in what I was thinking. My whole point of it was
you didn't understand the motives behind the person who was posting it.
Right.
And it wasn't to bring no truth out. It was just to incite
debate. Right.
And make a false argument about something that's not real.
Yeah.
You got causation, you got correlation. Really, they was trying to make a core, and it was reckless because You got a crime being committed by a mentally ill man, and you got a woman here that was in the middle of a group of racial protesters. Okay, the two had, but they were trying to. Where's the outrage? Because people who don't really have an argument, that's what they do. They hide behind their phone and they make they don't have no.
Is it the same journalist that initially put it out? That put out the comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same one.
That I don't know. I don't know
because that would, I guess, show the correlation.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I'm the source. That means the source. I don't know what the source of the story was.
The source is a Reuters. It was a Reuters journalist.
Yeah,
and then they put it on the cover of the New York Times.
Wow, the New York Times picked it up.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's very irresponsible.
Right, and the caption that I saw, I don't know if it was the original caption or whatever. Right. It was "This is a true image of America."
That was reckless.
Yeah,
because it's not.
You're just trying.
I've never listen. You know what's funny? I've been of the 50 states. I've been in 40 of them, and have I encountered racism in my life? Of course, but overt racism, somebody cross burners or the white nationalists, I've never ran into one. People feed this to themselves, and what happens is when you're in this bubble, this social media algorithm, it'll start leading you to believe that this stuff is more prevalent than what it is.
I agree.
And you get caught up into that.
And the bad thing is a lot of other people see that shit and they're pushing that. It's a lot of adults my age and above, pushing it on young kids. And the young kids ain't even got out their own city and they believe in, oh, it's so bad out here, it's so bad out there. And I gotta be like this. And they always
that's called conditioning, Marco. That's called listen.
We gotta stop doing that.
But that's
our young. That's called
listen. I did it. I had a family function the other night, and I got a chance to meet 4 of my beautiful, great nieces, young ladies coming up, and I was like, look, I don't see, Uncle, give y'all any advice. Any advice I can give y'all about travel is travel. Expose yourself to other cultures. That way, you have a real information about life. Not just what Youngstown shows you. Right. Youngstown is not an example of what's going on in the world. But if that's all you've been exposed to, that's how far your understanding goes. And because there's some situation it has to be experienced. It can't just be taught. They have to be experienced. You got to go out in the world. And I tell my niece, I tell my travel, see the world, experience other stuff, then develop your opinion. Because guess what? We were taught about morals and stuff before we was taught about the world.
Right. And see, the one thing I am appreciative of, I know a lot of people talk shit about it, but growing up in Camel, I'm happy for what the outcome was, but it kind of blinded me to a lot of stuff. Growing up in Camel,
it's a bubble.
There was no black folks.
Yeah, it was everybody.
The only way we were split between the top of the hill and the bottom of the hill.
Right.
The people who had money was on the top of the hill. The people who didn't was at the bottom of the hill. We all went to the same fucking school.
Figuratively or really? Really at the bottom of the hill.
You know what the Camel Projects is at the bottom, right at the bottom. It's at the Camel.
Yeah, my dad from Bridgeton, Camel.
Yeah, so
Sheet 2, Sheet 2.
Yeah, my grandpa worked at
Sheet 2. Yeah.
But being
a lot of history here, man.
I go out and about, and people talk about race this or race that. And you really, what are you talking about?
But I'm gonna tell you something.
Where I come from.
Marco, let me just be honest though. Be honest. Now, have you encountered most of the Puerto Ricans believe Boricua, born and come from Youngstown, don't think like that. They're not like the people who come from over there. So you're right. You don't see it because of the way you was raised. But some of your brothers and sisters they very much see race. Very clear about it.
Oh, I done met some racist fucking sticks.
Yeah. So that's your experience to share you and most of the Puerto Ricans that come from Youngstown feel the same way you feel.
Again, like I said, I've seen more racism come from my people My people to me is black and a little bit of the Puerto Rican.
Right.
You know, because I was more, raised by black folks than anything else. So, I mean, my dad was.
But it's a very, but that's an issue. That's a poor people issue.
Right. I
was talking
and that
to
was
this.
the only thing I knew was rich and poor.
I was in federal prison with this stone cold Confederate flag type conservative. But this dude, he was cool, but he wasn't. But me and him used to have these political debates. And like I said, I like to make my friends of other races feel comfortable talking to them. So I don't get all, sensitive and then I let them speak their piece. And, he pointed out one time, man, it was during election time. We was having a lot of political debates about Terry, the people at the top just keeps us fighting. And he realized how he was used by the conservative and Republicans to hate and go out and do their bidding during election time, scare people, intimidate people, and then as soon as the election over, they don't have no more use for them. So he realized that they were being used and brainwashed. It's like we're being used and brainwashed. We got to be careful about aligning ourselves with these people because we fighting over each other is just staying distracted from what they're really doing, bro. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in Northeast Ohio that people are not. Do you see the demographic changing right in front of your eyes? Do you see what's going on? But we're worried about all the wrong stuff. We're divided. Race issues or social. We need to focus on what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and the shit that's happening at home. Right here.
Thank you.
Whether I support Donald Trump or not,
he's a lame duck. Donald Trump is a lame duck president. He will not accomplish any. Listen, didn't I just tell you? He needed a war. Every president needs a war. When the presidency is failing, they need a war because the war generates money. Who pays them? The military industrial complex. That's why a president can come in being worth $400,000 and leave office and worth $150 million like President Obama. Now he sold a lot of books. Goddamn, $150 million. So, it's like they need a war, they need a cause, and they need a significant bill they pass. Trump had his big, beautiful bill. He got that. He got his war. Now you're lame duck. Go sit down and just answer questions when we tell you. We're going to give you a list of what to say. And you just sit there with the stupid hat on and looking like you fried bologna and say what we tell you to say because you're done. You're not getting nothing else done. We're looking for our new president. Look for the next person that comes out of nowhere, the hot, sensational, and everybody, woo, they build these people up. They build them up right in our face. They need a political star right now. Dude, everybody Trump exhausted. His party, everybody just Trump exhausted. They need a star. Watch somebody, looking for somebody to champion to run both parties. Democrats ain't got a viable candidate. Republicans don't have a viable candidate.
I think they're going to stretch.
So this is going to be interesting who they build up next.
I feel like Mondami's going to be the one to build up.
He's scary. He's scary. Yeah. He's scary. So now that segues into our socialism debate.
I feel like the Mondami thing because we start going down rabbit holes there. There's talks that's
what's funny
Jeffy's
about
son. That's old. There's talks that he's old Jeffy's son.
Hey, listen,
from Nickelodeon Island.
You know what's funny about those type of liberals? It's scary. Like it's like really, like.
They got people believing in them.
They really believe. Like
they believe in them.
Like,
dude, I was just talking to people I know, people that are cool folks, but joined the Democratic Socialist Association, whatever the fuck. I'm like, really, dude? Really? I mean, okay. Apparently the way things is going, New York is just gonna be its own thing, just like Michigan.
Remember Escape from New York?
Yep.
Remember Escape from New York?
Yep.
They was preparing us for this, bro, when we was kids.
Yeah.
So when we see it, it's already been pre-programmed in us from programming. TV show.
I'm wondering.
Escape from New York is going to be a very real thing. So
I heard the framing that I heard of, if some shit did go down.
Not soon, that, I'm sorry, but in the next 40 years,
the country will get split into three. There's gonna be 3 presidents, and then like a council almost of each of the 3 parts of America.
Why? What's going to why? Why?
It's control. It's money. It's control.
Or if you
want to think it's the religious way,
nope.
Then there's a lot of religion and satanic shit that goes on there. A lot of ball worshiping.
Nope, not it.
But ultimately, they're just it's money.
No,
money and power.
Money, like we got to get off of that. Money is that's just a tool
money
they use to keep us.
Man.
It's about power. It's about control of resources. Let me tell you something. What's the new boom? What's the new boom?
The new data centers.
Okay, now stay with me.
Oh, we've been talking about.
Stay with me. Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We've been talking about the data center.
I operate in there's a lot of building going on across Northeast Ohio. From Northeast, from Pennsylvania all the way across, all the way over past Toledo. A lot of building. I mean, $1 million homes. $1 million homes. I'm talking about new builds. Not none of those prefab. I'm talking about
nice homes. Right?
Nice homes. You go into some communities, they're building 50, 60 homes at a time. These houses are starting at $650,000 and up.
Look at the big ass data
and it says sold. It says sold before it's even done being built. All it down. What is everybody saying? Oh, it's a bad economy, bad economy. They don't build like this in bad economies. It's a company called Ryan Homes. It's another one. Ryan Homes is the main one. You don't build like that in a bad economy, bro. They don't build like they're building in a bad economy. So who are they building these homes for? These now. To qualify for a $650,000 mortgage, that's just at the low end. You got to be bringing in about $150K. No, I'm sorry, about $225K a year for $650,000 mortgage. Okay. So who's moving into these homes? You got thousands of them being built. Expensive homes, thousands, not affordable housing. See, who's moving in these homes? Why? Because the tech centers, the data centers are coming.
Oh yeah,
they're coming and they're already trying to fight in court.
They already got the ground.
Why here? Why here?
Well, they're everywhere. But
No, they're not.
One of the biggest ones is coming here. They're getting
why?
The water, probably because
they want the fucking water, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta understand something. The United States is in a drought. United States, the Southwest, South are in a drought. The Northeast, we have the last fresh water supply in the United States, brother. And they need those water supplies for data centers because it can't run off seawater. And now the Chinese have figured out how to run theirs off seawater, but for some reason we can't. For some reason we can't. But they need that. Because those data centers take 5 trillion gallons of water per day.
Fuck yeah.
Per day.
They telling people right now not to do their laundry, not to take baths and shit in some of these states where they already got the data center.
They taking the water, bro. They come. I'm telling you now, they coming for the water.
Well, this was talked about way back in the day when the water was you had to buy that.
That's the last gold rush. That's the last gold rush. That's the next gold rush, man. Ain't gonna be the last one. It's gonna kill us.
Remember when the aliens
when they start playing with the water, it's over, bro.
Remember when the aliens were taking the water?
That's gonna be the end, man, of our society because they're gonna start trying to control the lakes. That's why all those different communities, and I ain't gonna say no names, are building houses all along the lake. If you look across, Ryan Homes are building homes all across Lake Erie because they want to control the water.
They're making it illegal that water ain't yours, even though you got a pond or something on your land. That water ain't yours. I think the law is if a bird could go from your land, your water, to another piece of water, then it don't belong to you. It's a fucked up law. We did a whole show on it.
Wow,
bro.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And then now it's
that's like an ordinance for like a it's not a law. So you gotta be careful. It's not a law.
It's in Ohio.
It's like
a state law.
Yeah.
Just like there's certain towns. Research. I think it's in Florida maybe. The guy was collecting, and it might even be around here too. If you collect your own rainwater, that's illegal. That's stealing. That's theft. That's a federal fucking offense.
What?
Yeah. Rainwater. There's a dude who was collecting it. He was giving it to his animals, taking shot. You know, he was off the grid. And yeah, he got fucking charged.
Wow, bro, you educated me today.
Yeah,
you educated me today on that.
They've been doing this about the water. Remember they stopped the fracking?
Yeah.
Why? Because it was ruining the water.
Well, no. Yeah, they ran out. The resource ran out.
They said that was ruining the aquifer.
But listen, I know what they said.
Yeah,
I know what they said.
Just look at that and look at what they need that water.
The resource ran out. It was too expensive to dig for that little bit of oil, and then it cost too much to process. It's just the resource. It ran out. It was a thing. And there was a mighty big hold on. They knew that before they started doing it. So it wasn't like that was the reason they stopped. Believe me, when they do projects like that, they do all the research. They know it's going to be damaged. They didn't care. But once they seen that it wasn't a deep enough resource and the cost of fracking and getting it out, it wasn't worth it. You know, that's why people don't understand. They say, well, United States, we have all our own oil, but it's way more expensive to process. We got our oil isn't like over in the Middle East where it's coming out liquid and, you know, they just refining it. It has to be processed here. So that whole idea that, you know, we got our own oil and it's true, but that's why the fracking stopped. It wasn't because it was hurting water. It was because the resource wasn't worth it no more.
See, I'm a firm believer that water they were planning on, no, we gonna be needing that water. We gonna be needing that water, and it ain't gonna be for the people.
Yeah. They playing with the water, bro. They coming for the water.
Yeah.
Next 40 years, you're gonna see a control of all the water.
I believe it. I believe it can happen.
Next 40 years, man, you're gonna see.
And that's the next. Have you seen since we was kids and now the push on bottled water? When we was kids, where'd you see bottled water? You saw like that expensive Perrier or something. As kids, we saw pop, we saw Kool-Aid, we saw that orange.
I remember when bottled water came on the scene.
Yeah,
I remember. And
everybody's out there with the shit because they were drinking a bottle of water.
I would never pay for water until I moved into a house. I lived in a house out in Yankee Lake.
The country water, the well water,
bruh,
terrible,
bruh. No, sir, I'm letting my babies drink this. So that's what you take, man. So I spent about 11 G's on a water system to clean because I had that well water, country water. So that's what forced me getting into bottled water and, you know, having my water. Because at first I was like, never. Till I moved into that house, and I said, yep.
See, I used to work for a water department, and I see what happens and goes on in there, and I weigh that towards the microplastics or whatever.
Right.
And I got a shit ton of bottled water in my house. And, you know, for all the money we pay for the water bill, why is my water in Youngstown look like milk the first couple of minutes? Why? And that, you know, I didn't work for the water department that I live in.
I used to use bottled water. I used to use tap water just recently. Probably the last 6 months. I used to use tap water sometimes to make my coffee. Just rushing, getting it, you know. But I would get this weird, like, heartburn.
Yep.
So one day I'm with a client, and he pours his coffee. Man, he pours it out. He said, I told my wife, don't make it with tap water. I said, man, that's what that is. Said, yeah, man, you know, I like bottled water. I started about 6 months ago. I started making all my coffee. Man, like total difference, bro. Total difference. I said, man, I've been, you know, little stuff like that.
Yeah,
total difference.
You got to weigh the pros and the cons of the whole situation.
Well, you just got to be conscious because, like you said, this water. You got to say these pipes and these grounds are hundreds and hundreds of years old. It's all kind of contaminants.
And then some of the way they repair them is worse than the original damn piping.
Yeah, so, you know, bro, man, we got to just, as fathers, as grandfathers, we got to, and one thing I'm big on is health. Like I'm telling my family, like, there's some changes and stuff we need to make, you know, make healthy changes. Like, because I see something else going on, there's a lot of angry babies. And these little kids get mad and angry, and I mean, I'm like, why is that child that angry? It's in the water. It's in the food.
Well, here's a question.
The toxins, the red dyes.
Since you brought that up, because it was always, the myth that goes around or the conspiracy that goes around that the McDonald's made the white girls had a big boobs and fat ass. Now, do you think if that is real? You never heard that?
I've never heard.
Yeah. All the white
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's. The McDonald's made the girls had the big titties and the fat ass. Remember when the white girls?
I know big guts, not no big titties and that. You big guts and others. But now,
do you think
you didn't go to the right place?
Do you think that same McDonald's made aggressive children like aggressive brown kids?
I think it's a cocktail of things. I think McDonald's is one of the many things. I think the food industry is killing all of them red dyes and stuff they feed these babies. Them talkies and all that stuff.
I mean,
it's killing our babies, man.
Even like I was never.
Their little bodies can't handle those toxins.
Yeah.
I seen a child angry.
Our adult bodies can't handle.
When you're a child, like you can only you get mad. We growing up. I seen a child angry, furious for like an hour straight. Just couldn't subside the anger. And I said, that's not normal.
No.
These babies are too angry. It's in the dye, it's in the water, it's in the food.
It could be still
red dye.
They done admitted that they crop dusting us. They done admitted everything.
It's in the air, so we gotta, I try to be the example. I don't just talk, I try to be an example. I eat healthy, live a healthy lifestyle for my family because I think one thing I do probably is smoke weed,
Well, you know what? On Thursdays, I do a mental health show with a buddy of mine from Canada, Dino the Genetic Marvel. Check him out. But he's also on What the Fuck Wednesdays on my show. But we do a mental health show where we pick a particular issue that it's just men's issue. It's not, if a woman has her view, whatever, sorry, it's Team Man that night. But we talk about like different things, like if you're having a problem with your house or if you're just having a problem with depression.
Man, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's definitely, man.
Like that.
A lot of times men don't understand how therapeutic having those conversations can be. If you're willing to be vulnerable, and have those tough conversations. Because, a lot of men suffering in silence. I know a lot of good dudes, man, a lot of good brothers, man, suffering in silence, man. They dealing with difficult baby mamas and difficult situations, health challenges. A lot of guys ain't got the best health and they suffering in silence. They don't got, they're not taking care of themselves because we're not taught to take care of ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves financially. Working ourselves to death and not getting no type of traction because we're not investing in the right things, So these conversations are important, Marco, man. I appreciate it, man. This is dope, man. I've been a fan of your platform. I would be lying and saying if you didn't influence me, you did. Because you've been around. How long you been around?
It's been over a decade.
Yeah, so definitely, man, bro. Appreciate you letting me on your platform.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hoodpolitics. Check me out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Hoodpolitics Media. I talk about a lot of the same issues, different perspectives, man. We gotta tap in once a week or something, man.
Oh yeah, and also it's closed. Check out
hey, go to habitualhustlerbrand.com. Listen, go to my link. You go to habitualhustlerbrand.com. That's gonna take you down the rabbit hole with me. That give you access to everything I'm doing. Remember, my book right now is on Amazon. It's called Showtime: How to Promote and Win. Check me out. Get you a copy. Buy 10 copies, and the digital copy will be ready August 1st. Showtime: How to Promote and Win by R. King Carter.
That's it. And tomorrow we got motherfucking Monday. Check that shit out. And then I'm gonna be doing a set down in the strip club out in Erie, PA. That's my background. Go and check that shit out if you're in the area. They also got an open mic after we do our sets. Then we got What the Fuck Wednesday and Mental Health Thursday. And Dino the Genetic Marvel, he got his morning motivationals in the morning those 2 days, so check him out. We're gonna have an open mic down here in Youngstown on the 26th, I believe. 25th or the 26th. I got it posted at the Calvin Center. There's an open mic for comedy. It's BYOB. Don't act a fool down there. But we're trying to give everybody a little bit of time in the local scene and all that. If you want to just come and watch, it's $5. It's just to kind of cover the hall and maybe throw the comedians some money. But either way, come and check us out. You know, support your local entertainment and all that shit. This has been the impromptu What the Fuck Wednesday. We just gonna call it the Hood Politics.
Collabo, definitely.
Hey, it was definitely a pleasure having you,
my bro. Mi amigo.
Yep.
Man.
And he will definitely be back.
Yeah.
So that being said, y'all be kind to each other.
Yes,
don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Don't, man.
And
smart as a new gangster, man.
Yeah, that's
smart
it.
as a new gangster.
We out.
All right.
Let's see where this off button on this motherfucker. And